Welcome students, today we are going to take Ode to the West Wind, written by the great romantic poet Percy Bysshe Shelley, and this was written in 1819 and published in 1820. Here in this ode, as the very name ode is suggestive of an addressal, the poet addresses to the west wind. And when he wrote this poem, he was in Italy and near Florence in the woods of Arno. He was in the evening time. He saw the stormy wind was collecting the vapors that sent the autumnal rains. At sunset, as Shelley had foreseen, there was a violent tempest of hail and rain, attended by an exceptional thunder of clouds and lightning. And in the very beginning of the poem, the poet personifies the west wind and addresses her as the breath of autumn's being. As I read the first stanza, O wild west wind, thou breath of autumn's being, thou from whose unseen presence the leaves dead are driven like ghosts from an enchanter fleeing. O wild west wind, the force of alliteration suggests the force of west wind, and the west wind here is personified and called the breath of autumn's being. And the presence of autumn is everywhere, and the leaves of the trees have fallen, and there the leaves are fallen like the leaves are dead. Thou from whose unseen presence the leaves dead are driven, and with its unseen presence the dead leaves are driven, and they are driven like ghosts from an enchanter fleeing. Here is an inverse simile where, as the ghost flies by the enchanter, and here the dead leaves are flown or driven by the presence of the west wind. So, the concrete or visible leaves are likened to the abstract or invisible ghost. That's why this is an inverse simile. And those leaves are of the colors like yellow and black and pale and hectic red. These leaves are yellow and black and pale and hectic red, pestilence-stricken multitudes, and they are like a patient who is pestilence-stricken. O thou who charitest to their dark wintry bed the winged seeds, and this west wind not only drives away the dead leaves, it carries the winged seeds which have fallen from the trees and carries them under the surface of the earth, and there they lie cold and low, each like a corpse, and the seeds are, here another simile, seeds are likened to the corpse which are lying beneath the surface of the earth in their grave, until thine azure sister of the spring shall blow, until the azure sister of the spring shall blow her clarion over the dreaming earth, and there beneath the surface they lie until the season of spring blows her clarion, and the spring is considered as the azure sister of the spring shall blow her clarion, and she will wake the seeds up by blowing her clarion, and the seeds which are there like sleeping and under the dreaming earth over the dreaming earth and fill. And here in parenthesis, Shelley says, driving sweet birds like flocks to feed in air. Just like a shepherd drives its flock, the season of spring will wake the seeds up and the birds will come over there, and are likened to the flocks of the sheep, and they are feeding in the air. They have sprouted here, and her clarion over the dreaming earth and filled with living hues and odors, plain and hill. And she will, the season of spring will wake them up and fill them with living hues, with the colors of nature and odors, plain and hill, in the plains and in the among the hills, all the seeds which were there lying low and cold under the dreaming earth will now wake up, and there will be hues and odors of the sprouted birds. Wild spirit, again he addresses the west wind as wild spirit, which art moving everywhere, whose presence is there everywhere, destroyer and preserver, O hear. And here she is called destroyer, destroyer of the dead leaves, and symbolically, if we take it, destroyer of the old order and preserver of the new seeds, means preserver of the new ideas. So west wind, he is here having twin effects of destroying the old order or old thoughts which are not relevant to those times, and the preserver of the new ideas which are very much necessary for that time. So here symbolically she is destroyer and preserver. Here, here, he addresses the west wind to listen to the song of the poet, and personifying west wind, he says, here, here, you are having that force and that power to eliminate all the evils which are present, and to bring all the new ideas which are very much important for that time. So here we see the effect of west wind on land. Then in the next 14 lines there are here five parts, of 5 parts of 14 line each. So today we have completed the first part of 14 lines, and here we see the effect of west wind on land or earth. In the next part we shall see effect of west wind in the air or clouds. So students, for today's class this we have done. You just read these lines, go through the metaphors and similes, and try to understand and interpret in the line which I have tried to convey you the meaning. Thank you.